Sorry for that weird stop. I'm just a little irritated because I've been spending the last hour trying to get OBS to function, and it wasn't, and then it, for some reason, reset everything. So my mic wasn't put into the system, even though the filters still were there, and then my headphones weren't in the system, but I think it's working now, hopefully. Oh my god. But we're going to get back into the fun of torturing ourselves, and that is this part of the stream. So this one almost has nothing to do with what Jay has done. It kind of just separates itself from that because Hassan has never watched the video that Jay has put out. So he only talks about it in passing, and most of this compilation is just making Hassan, well, showing what Hassan acts like during his stream. We're gonna get a little taste of that. Oh, see, so context for this part, I think I'm gonna skip past it. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna skip past most of this. Ponyo. And my cat's a little sick today, so she's been sleeping in the cubby. Good. I think she wants to come up. Baby, how you doing? She's right here. She's been so tired lately. She hasn't been drinking her water. I think she feels sick. She's okay though. So let's try to get back into it. The context for this is, so throughout all of the parts we've had so far, with Hassan taking Jay's video about the house that is messy and creepy and weird. The reason I say it hit the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, it wasn't just a run-of-the-mill YouTube video, is because it's not just Hassan who saw it, but a lot of people saw it, including someone like Penguin Zero, Moist Critical, who also watched it on the stream within that short time period. So he did a pretty lackluster react. I'll just...
I've been watching Superhuman for a long time.
It's just forwarding through most of his reactions.
This is where the homeowners really had their best ideas, I think. The laboratory.
This is a very big house that anyone would
drop shipping din. You're pretty close, actually. The photos are good for a double. Yeah.
Okay. He does not want to cooperate today. Ponyo.
Thanks to Prime Love Shack.
Find a spot, choose it, and sit down.
Thanks to Recent Paradox. You haven't seen shit from this house yet. We're only just beginning. I'll let the whole thing ride. I've seen this before and looked into it.
Lay down.
This is what it looks like when you activate.
Sorry, so I was not paying attention, but you can see what the reaction was like. It's exactly what I'm doing right now. Sorry about that. And it's very much ignoring the content and just letting it play for the audience. And mostly just taking into stock things that are happening on your channel, like thanking subs and stuff. Oops. Ooh, why did that skip? I think it skipped 8 minutes in or something. Oh, that's not 8 minutes in. That's like a lot of minutes in. Ponyo, just lay down. What's up? I know you're sick, but it doesn't mean you have to stand right in front of me.
Their best ideas.
Okay, let's skip ahead. Okay. So, obviously it wasn't the best reaction to a piece of content. And it drew some attention, much like the other stuff. Ponyo, just choose a spot. Lay down. She's looking up at me all sad. Okay, sorry, Ponyo. I'll move this stuff out of your way so you can sleep. What are you drooling? Are you okay? I'm just seeing drops of. Sorry, I'm getting a little off topic, but it's just I'm worried about my cat right now. What do you want? What do you want to be? Huh? But so the whole issue that everybody had was that Hassan reacted pretty negatively to Jay's, or didn't react to Jay's criticism in the first place, and reacted also in a very dismissive way. Oh, Ponyo, why do you have to lay on it? You have to lay on my thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was EFAP's coverage of him doing that. Yeah, she's laying on my mouse pad now.
There was a channel that I really enjoyed, and I watched their video on a dilapidated building that was for sale. It was a house, and it was one of the...
Sorry, I should have prefaced this. This is a response that even Zero made in response to him. At least he considered it stealing and not using Jay's content for a springboard. He essentially just re-upload. At least he felt like he re-uploaded it. It wasn't his own transformative thing.
One of the most confusing house tours of all time. It was this fucking labyrinth, a house of nightmares, and they had a great video going through all of it, and I watched it on stream. I'd already seen it before I watched it on stream as well, because I just wanted to show people and talk about it and like get really goofy with it and figure out what was going on with this house. But I ended up just getting too lost in the video because they presented it so well.
And that's what I love about Penguin Zero is he understands the concept of getting lost in a video, and I was getting lost in just trying to help my cat while I was letting the video play. Sorry about that, but yeah. But yeah, I'm happy that he's willing to take the L on that. Sometimes you have to take criticism and really apply it. Because that's the thing with a lot of really public people is criticism is just blown off, especially because it's don't pay attention to the haters, don't give the haters fuel. But the problem is if you don't if you consider all criticism hate, it makes it really hard to grow as a person. So whether it's in real life or with just your content and comments, it's really important to make sure that you take into account what is hate and what is criticism. Because constructive criticism is very important to growth. Why a lot of artists get better is because they're destroyed by critics. So, yeah.
Well, and it was just such a great video. And the creator saw my reaction to it and was really disappointed. They didn't appreciate it. And I totally understood where they're coming from because I didn't really add anything to it. I didn't really react to it. So to them, it felt like I was just re-uploading their content on my stream. And I get that perspective, I really do. But that's never the goal. It's never supposed to be...
Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, this is actually, I think it's a direct response to the video, not necessarily any of the immediate pushback. Pretty sure, because I think it references
someone else's hard work in order to do nothing for it and make money off it. Going forward, I won't just be rolling dice hoping I can add to whatever video gets recommended on YouTube night. I will be maybe checking them for a little bit, and then if it's something that I can add to, I'll look at the rest on my own and maybe make content out of as a response to it as opposed to real-time reaction, which has always been the majority of my content anyway. I think what really helped me understand this perspective wasn't Dark Viper's video, it was actually JXC's.
Oh yeah, so I don't think I mentioned this. There's another creator named Dark Viper who did pretty much the same thing that Jay did. So when Jay did his reaction content video, it's the one right. Okay, thank you. She gave me a little bit of the mouse back, but right here, I think you can see my mouse. But this video is Jay's video, the hour-long one. But Dark Viper had another video that was similar in nature, but it had a lot of So when people when the two other people that we've covered so far keep on saying, "Oh, it just sounds like Jay's angry. It just sounds like Jay's angry." Of all the things, it sounds like Viper is angry. The other Dark Viper, the one who made the other video. Because if you look at his video and the way he talks about the whole situation, it's very it actually sounds like an attack against someone's character. Because it's not giving them opportunity to grow, it's just telling them that they're bad people. So that's why Critical says that it's not Dark Viper's video that helps him, it's really Jay's video, because Jay's video is a lot less attacking. Because you could consider attacking because you're making an hour-long video that addresses a huge problem and uses one person as an example. So it may sound like it's a little bit mean and a little bit, yeah, it sounds a little mean just to use one person as an example. But it happens all the time, and it's very important to at least get one example. And if it's the biggest streamer, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, it's a good example. So I don't think it's too mean, especially because he can handle it. Hasan is someone who says that he says himself he can handle mean comments and stuff, but we'll see later that that's not the case.
They made a great video recently just going over the entire React ecosystem, just going over everything from the perspective of someone that had their video reacted to by multiple people, myself included. It's actually the video of the Bizarre House walkthrough, the one that I mentioned, was a very
Oh, no, wait. So I got it wrong. So I think this one might have been the not response, and this one might have been response after he watched the video. So that one might have been the one that happened earlier. Or these are just two different takes he made. I don't know.
It was actually JXC's for everything from the perspective of someone that had their video reacted to by multiple people. It was a very shameful moment for me where it's a video I really liked but didn't react hard to. I'd already seen it and I just basically shared it with my community without adding anything to it, and they were upset with
it. Exactly, and that's something that is very important, is to realize that you've made a mistake and look at him. He's very clearly stating what he did wrong. And
with that,
he also, at the beginning of this, stated like what he'll do to change it because he realizes that it's not the best thing.
I totally do get. And they made a video going over that whole situation and really helped put it in perspective for me to understand things better. Dark Viper more focuses on dunking.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It sounded more like I think attack is a little bit of a mean word, but yeah, I think dunking is a better way to describe it. It's a way to poke fun at someone and make sure that everybody says, "Oh, that person's a bad person." Ugh. Not the best way to go about things.
In some cases, he has every right to, because I got things wrong. But JXC really painted the whole picture that put it all like in a really good.
Yeah, because Jay took a whole 2 months of editing to make sure that it came out really well. And I think there's a later part. I'm not sure if it's here. Sorry, Ponyo. Where's the part? Is it here? Oh, yeah. So Jay even cut out a certain part of the video. And after this clip, you'll see the part that Jay cut out because he felt like it was a little too attacking. But a lot of people are saying that he probably should have kept it in, considering how Hasan reacted.
Good perspective for me
to the normal one. Yeah, here it is. Wait. Oh yeah, this is the weird interview that Hasan does to make himself look better, but it's kind of funny in retrospect, looking at how he reacts to things. Wow.
The criticism that was thrown in my face has been consistent throughout my career. I'm an idiot. I'm a dumb bimbo. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've gotten numb to the criticism. Like as a matter of fact, I seek it out now because I make.
Gotten numb to the criticism. As a matter of fact, I seek it out. So he himself says he seeks
content out of it.
Seeks it out.
In November of 2020, I released a YouTube video making fun of a weird house. In July of 2021, Hasan streamed a reaction. I released a YouTube video rarely and does not give credit. I soon after responded with a satirical lead.
So I think this is the part that he cut out. I think this is the part. Because Mahler made a mistake and not actually putting in the edit where he says, "Oh, this is the cut part of Jay's video," because on EFAP he was able to preface it with everybody, but I'm not sure.
I released a YouTube video making fun of a weird house. In July of 2021, Hasan streamed a reaction to this.
Wait, February what?
The YouTube video.
Sorry, I'm.
In November of 2020, I released a
November. Oh, that's not too bad.
Video live on Twitch, which is a weird house. In July of 2021, Hasan streamed a reaction.
So November 2020, July of 2021. Oh, so it didn't really hit the algorithm that hard. But it was enough for someone to react to it.
Reaction to this video live on Twitch, which he spent the majority of either absent or eating food.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the bigger things that Jay should say clearly, and that's why it's sad that he cut this part of the video out.
To comment very rarely, ending up adding less than 2 minutes of total commentary to my 14-minute video, which he plays in full. He does not give credit. I soon after responded.
He does not give credit. That's a huge point that a lot of people just pass over a lot of the time. So, sorry. Yeah, that's a huge point that a lot of people pass over when they're talking about this topic, is that he didn't give.
Responded with a satirical livestream, making sure to outline what my actual perspective was, both in the stream and in a pinned comment. This perspective was basically, I'm fine with reaction.
So one thing I could say is that it's definitely not horrifying, because yes, you're just using someone else's stuff, but not giving credit. So the concept of not giving credit is just not having it available for someone to be able to find you. So the only two things that we have on the screen are if you can see, I think it's right next to my face, right? That way. Is in the tabs, you can probably see the name of the video, like the first couple words of the video. So there's still available stuff, but that's pretty much the most that he gives. Is the way he watches it in theater mode makes it really hard for people to see it, or for people to see the title at the bottom. So, and you can adjust it in theater mode so that you can actually see the title, but I guess that's just not how Hasan watches videos.
Action content. Hang on, let me just repeat that again very slowly and clearly. I am fine with reaction, but I don't think it's cool to go slowly and clearly.
Oh yeah, this is the biggest thing this is the reason why a lot of people said he should have kept this part in, is because he clearly says this.
Clearly. I am fine with reaction, but I don't think it's cool to go around playing people's full videos on your stream without adding anything or giving credit unless you have their express permission. Hasan then responded on his next stream, first by apologizing.
Because this is something he said in his own video, but he said it over the course of an hour, which is probably why people didn't get it, because they're not fully paying attention the entire way through.
And saying that he wasn't going to watch any of my videos on stream.
Yeah, watch. So this is the bigger point. So this is where you get all the best context.
Stream without adding anything or giving credit unless you have their express permission. Hasan then responded on his next stream, first by apologizing and saying that he wasn't going to watch any of my videos on stream anymore.
If you don't want me watching your stuff, I will gladly never watch it. I'm really sorry.
After this, he spent approximately the next 25 minutes making arguments as to why he didn't think he was in the wrong for doing.
I just love it. If you don't want me to watch your stuff, don't watch it. It's so dumb. Because obviously he would want you to watch your stuff as long as you're transforming, because then you give them
doing this kind of thing.
Well, at least he then watched the replay of the stream that Jay made. That was the parody stream. Because and he's showing the name of the video the entire way through, which is great.
Aren't you taking views away? No, most YouTubers don't mind that, actually love that shit when Twitch streamers react to their videos, because they get a fucking fat bump.
But he did always stay true to the principle that you shouldn't do this to someone if they've asked you not to.
Which is a pretty good thing. He's very good on the no means no concept, which I think more people need to be better on, because there's quite a few people who don't. But yeah, I think Hasan is good at the no means no concept, but also there's also another concept that means that is nothing doesn't also mean yes. Yes means yes. So I feel like there's a an issue there where he doesn't.
I then went live with a couple of friends discussing his arguments and disagreeing with most of them. Now, something that most people, including people from my audience, seem to not know is that I always intended to take the arguments made in that stream and turn them into their own fully edited video. As someone who primarily interacts with their audience via fully edited videos, I often do this with my live streams. If we're free now, why are we not free to do what we were doing before? If you're truly free, then you should be free to do what you were doing before.
Yeah, so it's a very typical thing. If you're a streamer who's also a YouTube content creator, you can kind of bounce off of your audience and make sure that you both have an understanding of what you're looking for and whether people want to see that type of content from you. It's kind. I hate to bring this up, but there's the example of CinemaSins, because this JXE used to be called CinemaSins. That's oops. Why do I keep on messing it up? Oh, I got back to it pretty quickly. But so he used to be called CinemaSins, and he has a whole thing talking about how CinemaSins is not the best quality of content, and how they keep on saying, "Oh, this is not really our opinions. We're just playing a cocky a-hole type character who doesn't like cinema." But then he compares it to how a lot of the things they say in their own content, so the CinemaSins stuff, is also said in their live streams of them going back from the movie theater. So it's not just them playing a character; they also agree with some of the stuff. So it's their way of getting rid of the criticism by just saying, "Oh, it's all a character," when it's not all a character. So that's the best connection I can give. It's the only time where I've seen someone have a live stream where they directly quote themselves in their own YouTube content.
To do what we were doing before. If you're truly free, then you should be free to do what you were doing before. Except that doesn't always apply. Here's a stream where I live react to a Watch Mojo video, and here's a fully edited response to that video I made a few weeks later. Here's a stream where I react to some Troom Troom videos, and here's the fully edited main channel video. Stream.
I actually never saw the stream related to that Troom Troom video. That video is hilarious because Troom Troom is crazy. It really is made for children, because the type of stuff that I see kids watching while they work at the after school program, it really is all like that, and I feel like it's catering to that, but they also have adult subject matter a lot of the time, which is not okay. Because it appeals to children, but a lot of children shouldn't be on normal YouTube. They should be on YouTube Kids. Just the truth.
Video. Stream. Video. Stream. Video. So yeah, I always intended to turn this stream into a fully edited video. It just took me a little bit longer than it normally does because I had other stuff I wanted to work on first. New TV shows that I wanted to review while they were still fresh just kept coming out. A video about React content was still something I wanted to do, it just wasn't a high priority.
Exactly. So there's a lot of arguments later that Hassan brings up that would have been quelled by this part of the video that was cut out, because Hassan later keeps on saying, "Why do you keep on bringing it up? Why do you keep on bringing it up?" Because it happened. The video that came out with Jay, I think it was only 5 to 6 months. I think it was 5. It was 5 months after the stream that he made responding. So, like, after this stream that he's referencing, right? Where is it?
If you still don't believe me, a video about React.
Right here. So this stream was 5 months before the actual video. So when Hassan keeps on saying, "Why do you keep on bringing it up? You're just rehashing old drama." It's not like he's rehashing old drama. He's just using the old drama as a springboard for the conversation of React content is not. If it's not transformative, it's not good. It's not good for the health of a streaming service.
That content was still something I wanted to do, it just wasn't a high priority. If you still don't believe me on that, then here's a tweet from months ago where I explicitly outline that those are my intentions. Finally, on the 1st of February 2022, I posted my first and only fully edited video on the topic. Hasan hates this video and insists that it's bad faith, despite the fact that he's never seen it, the irony of which is lost on him because of how he's a fucking stupid person.
Dude, that's the only insult he has. He would have had his entire video if you left that in. What he could have done is just cut out that part because it's not nice. But Hasan has no concept of logic, because he says that he knows that. I can just let him say it because he's so awful.
Basically, I have no way of like, I seek out the shit nonstop, right? But I've basically gotten to a point where like I have no way of responding in a way that makes me look a little bit better. Like, it looks fine to you, okay? It looks fine to you because you know where I'm coming from.
Well, he said that he has no way of responding that would make him look better. Yes, you do. It's taking the L and changing the way you do content. You have enough money. You don't have any reason to be doing what you're doing the way you do it. Like, you shouldn't have to take your breaks during your content. It's not that big of a problem, especially for you to turn off your stream. Just saying.
It looks fine to you because you understand what I mean. You watch me 8 hours a day. It looks fine to you. But if someone has never fucking actually watched me, and the only thing that they've seen is like an 8-hour compilation, or if only thing that they've seen are fucking enough clips of me standing up, leaving, and they're also not content creators themselves.
The problem is watch.
Standing up, leaving.
Just listen to the statement, and I'll tell you why it's hilarious.
Or if only thing that they've seen are fucking enough clips of me standing up,
enough
leaving,
clips.
and they're also not content creators.
So enough clips of you standing up and leaving. No, it's not that you're standing up and leaving. It's that you're standing up and leaving during someone else's content. It's the letting someone else's content play while you're leaving. I wouldn't care if you just paused it. Honestly.
Themselves.
Oh.
So
he doesn't. I don't think he doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it.
They have no way of understanding what content.
How does someone that's this successful just not have brains? I know I'm being very insulting, but he takes everything as if it's in bad faith constantly. He's on ultimate everybody who criticizes me is a hater mode. That's how he operates, and it's hilarious.
Creators are what content creators are interested in, or what content creators like, or what motivates them, and the only thing that they hear is like one content creator that they actually like that has decided that reaction is bad.
I appreciate the Halloween style fingernails. Wait, I want to hear what he said.
And the only thing that they hear is like one content creator that they actually like that has decided that reaction is bad.
But see, he's saying that Jay's decided that reactions are bad, but like I've said, he doesn't understand what Jay's point is.
For everyone else, then of course, like I have no good way of communicating that to people, effectively communicating that to people, and it sucks.
No, you have a great way of communicating that to people. Watch the video and listen to the arguments, or have Jay on the stream so he can explain them to you, explain the concepts to him very clearly so that he gets it. Because sometimes when you're watching a video, it's hard to get all the points that you want to get across and have someone retain it. But I know if I see an example, like a visual example, it's a lot easier for me to get things. Maybe Hasan is a very visual person. Maybe he can't handle listening, which is a bad thing in a debate person, but if that's how he operates, he maybe should get a visual of what's wrong about it.
So I got to get better at that. That's definitely something I used to be a lot better at. I don't want people to think that like I'm fucking running away from criticism. I never do. If anything, people get mad at me for maybe doing too much.
Why would you say that? Oh my god. So the problem with saying that is any example that we can find of someone blowing off criticism just makes that whole statement look hilariously dumb. It makes you look stupid. Like you don't stand by the principles that you yourself declare that you have. So hopefully this compilation has a sufficient number of examples.
Diving headfirst in the criticism. The best thing to do is just ignore them. That sucks, but the misinfo would also just stay. I don't think there's any.
So it's a commenter saying that. Great. It's like, oh my god. They're saying it's a misinfo, but they don't know. They're automatically saying it's misinfo, and I swear he's gonna latch onto that in some way.
I don't think there's any way to respond to it.
So there's no way to respond to it, but we have a very clear example right here with Penguin Zero doing exactly what he says he can't do. Exactly what Hassan says he can't do is respond to it.
For spending the last year with me at Hasanabi. Heart.
I don't think there's any way to like respond to it and like actually fucking diffuse the situation. So I don't know.
See, every time I hear him speak, it's like he hasn't seen anything pertaining to it. I swear, if another streamer that he was friends with saw Jay's video and then talked to him about it, maybe he'd listen. But because he's not watching Jay's video, he's never gonna get it, and then he's always gonna throw Jay into the curb and curb stomp him over and over and over. Curb stomp Jay's reputation as a YouTuber, as someone who can be honest. It's so dumb.
This meme itself, it's wild that this combo even, it's wild that this is even a combo when most people are watching it, and the overwhelming majority of content creators, including myself, love when people.
Oh yeah, so Hassan made a tweet to prove to everybody that it's all right that he does what he does, which is it's everybody saying I consent, but no one told him that he consents. That's my issue with this meme. He's taking out of context, and he understands that.
This is true. The myth of mutually beneficial react content. I consent is the reactors. I consent is 99.9% of content creators, and I don't says random YouTuber who no one is reacting to. Isn't there somebody you forgot to ask?
He says 99.9% of content creators. I can assure you that's not 99.9%. I love that he made his own meme to reassure himself that he's in the right.
I made this. I made this meme. Okay.
It's so big think right there. It's so big brained of him to think that because he says it, it's true.
And the problem with a meme like this is that it of course does not see the. And
that type of thing is a trait of narcissism. I'm not saying that he is narcissistic, but he's displaying a narcissistic trait by proving something to himself, by making something that is proof, that he considers proof, and showing it to himself again. Like that's the type of thing that it sounds like. I won't say that he definitely has narcissism because I don't have the degree for that.
The valid side.
Or I don't have the training to diagnose
of the criticisms, right? The valid sides of,
especially since in the case of mental illness, you can't diagnose someone just because they have a brief display of that illness. It has to be persistent. Some of them have to be persistent for at least 5 months. It's kind of ridiculous. So just remember, this is the thing. This is the takeaway, children. Don't diagnose yourself with something just because you see the symptoms online. You're probably fine. Have a doctor do it because they might have more to say on it. And if you can't afford a doctor, don't know what to tell you. You might have to find someone to help you out. But that's all I can say on the matter.
The criticism are this. If I watch a content creator, okay, it doesn't matter if it's helpful to them or not. If they don't want me to watch them, then they're right.
So that's him saying what the criticism is.
It was valid to be like, hey, they're not.
Wait. So I want you to hear that very clearly, so so everybody knows I'm not taking him out of context.
The valid sides of the criticism are this. If I
The valid
watch a
side.
content creator, okay, it doesn't matter if it's helpful to them or not. If they don't want me to watch them, then they're right.
No, that does matter because you can watch it as long as you're transforming it, but the way he watches it isn't transformative, so he can't. He shouldn't be doing it in the first place. That's the problem. He's not getting it. Not getting it.
It was valid to be like, hey, that's fucked up. Please don't do that again. Okay, that was valid. But milking that for an entire fucking year and continuously making.
So he continuously says it's a year when it hasn't even been half. It hadn't at the point of this stream that he made that Hassan made. It hadn't even been half a year. It was 5 months. It was close to half a year, but not even close to a year. Is it food?
I was gonna ask
on
you,
stream.
do you want your egg stuff or do you want your rice and curry from me?
Give me a second.
Or your stream?
All right. Okay. Sorry for that. Ugh. I just had a food conversation because we don't have any food to cook. We haven't gone shopping in a long time, so just discussing leftovers. Ow, my shoulders. I haven't been doing my workouts lately. Ow. Sorry, I'm debating because usually when I watch YouTube, I try to exercise, but I think I have to use too much brain power to try and get what Hassan is saying and respond to it. So I don't think I'm gonna work out during this.
Like videos about it is crazy. You know, after a fucking year, especially because like I agree with the original point.
See what he says there. After a year, not a year, he agrees with the original point. That's not the original point. He's rewritten history in his mind. He's rewritten what's happened. Although he hasn't rewritten what's happened because it was written in his brain like that since the beginning. It wasn't like he just rewrote what happened. It happened, and then he just immediately misunderstood the thing and then responded to the wrong point. That a point that Jay didn't even make. When he originally said, "Find out when we watch our videos," the original point that he was the context of him saying that, of Hassan saying that, was reading a post by Jay saying, I'm fine with React content. All that Jay said at the end of it is, if you're going to react to it in this way, which is not reacting, then I don't appreciate it. So even then, he's clearly seeing words on his screen and misunderstanding what the words are. So either he has a reading comprehension issue, or a auditory comprehension issue, which is fine because a lot of people have those types of issues. But that's why I'm a visual learner and audio learner. I'm good at both. I can't retain things I read. It's really hard for me. That's probably why I read through books so quickly and don't remember any of them when I was a kid. But yeah, it's just the way it is. He might have an issue, and that's something he has to deal with, but he should also make the effort to understand someone instead of just writing someone off immediately.
After a year, it's like, okay, well,
Not
like,
a year.
what else do you want from me? You know what I mean?
To listen to the original point.
And the thing is, like, I will not watch their video. And every time I talk about it, like, people go and seek it out and they watch the video. The entire point is, like, to get people to watch the video.
So it's the...
And the thing is, like, I will not watch their video.
Maybe, okay. Honestly, maybe he should watch it on his own time. Because I can understand him not wanting to watch it on stream because he feels like he's being attacked and that he would be giving traction to the person who's attacking him. But if you, I swear, if he watched it on his own time and realized what was wrong, then that's the point. Is I feel like he would get why he was wrong if he just watched it on his own and didn't give Jake traction for it. In just a second. So if you, oh wait, you can't see it because I'm blocking it. Oh no, you can. So if you see it right below me, you have a horrendous thing right here. But it's pro tip. That's the first line that you can't see. Pro tip: you compare something to that. It's got to be actual that action is goddamn horrendous. If you honestly think to use that for an argument, you clearly have never been affected by that. F off. So in that comment right there, this is clearly responding to Dark Viper's video because Dark Viper made that connection and Jay had nothing like that. So that's where the misunderstanding is. Hasan saw both, has seen that both of these have been made, and equates them, even though they're on completely different levels in terms of research and points that are put across.
Every time I talk about it, like, people go and seek it out and they watch the video. The entire point is, like, to get people to watch the video a year after the fact. It's just not worth it. It's not. Like, I feel like it's bad faith. I'm sorry.
I feel like it's bad faith. So his concept of bad faith is kind of warped because he believes that just because someone is bringing it up a year later in his mind, that it would have to be bad faith. Oh my god. Bad faith would just be taking the argument out of context and making them look worse. And Jay definitely doesn't do that. I would say that some of these clips that Mahler puts together make him out to seem worse than he is. Because I've seen how he interacts with other creators. He's pretty fine. I think he just doesn't like people who push back against him. And it's the concept of, if you aren't with me, you're against me. If you aren't with me, you're my enemy. I should just Photoshop Anakin's face in there.
Okay. Especially considering that, like, I'm right. Or, I mean, they're right. And I have a...
the Freudian slip there. And if you want to know what the psychological term for that is, it's parapraxis. So it's exactly the same definition as Freudian slip, but it's whatever was on your mind to begin with just comes out instead of what you were trying to say in the sentence. So parapraxis.
Okay. Especially considering that, like, I'm right. Or, I mean, they're right. And yeah. I have apologized. Like, I agree. Like, if someone doesn't want you to watch your shit, you don't watch their shit. That's it.
But here's the thing, a lot of times people use parapraxis to say that's what was originally on their mind, but in this case, it seems like it was the next part of the sentence was on his mind, because if you realize, when we speak, already coming up with the next part of our sentence before we actually say, or while we're saying something else. So, sorry, I'm taking too many pauses. I feel. I just need to take a deep breath. I am talking too much. Sorry, but he. So if you don't know, that's how we form sentences. Is we think about the end of or what comes next in the sentence while we're saying the previous part. So, I think what happened was his next part of the sentence. I swear there's a different name for that. That's not parapraxis. That I forgot from psychology of language, but yeah, he was trying to say, and I already apologized. So I think he blended "they're right" with "I already apologized." So that's why he said "I'm right" first. Some people on EFAP took this a little too like put this a little too hard on Hassan, that specific clip, because they said, "Oh, well, it sounds like he just thinks he's right and he's trying to bat off criticism." But I wouldn't say so. I think it's an honest slip of the tongue. If anything, Hassan just has horrible takes on what actually happened because he doesn't know what happened. He just thinks he knows what happened.
Okay. So there is validity in that in that conversation. In that
side, he's already doing the taking sides part, which is a very political thing to do. Because he is a political streamer, so nothing against that type of stuff. But if you're going to make everything into a this versus or us versus them thing, it's never gonna end well. That's how compromises don't get made.
side. Do I personally think it's beneficial for them? No, but it doesn't matter. It's not me. It's their video. The guy who posted in Hoscord basically just wants you to pause before you go to pee. That's it. He's in good faith. It can also be very annoying.
Yeah, there's a commenter.
Posted in Hoscord basically.
The guy who, so I will say it because he mumbles when he reads, but the guy you posted in Hascord, his Discord, basically just wants you to pause the video before you pee. That's it. He's in good faith, but can also be very annoying. Yeah, I could admit Jay's personality is not for everybody because he says things in a very flamboyant way. That's just Jay. I mean, I think they go by they right now. Sorry, but yeah, it's a very honest thing. I'm glad that someone in Hassan's chat is willing to let Hassan know, but let's see Hassan there.
He just wants you to pause. A bunch of people also jump. That's it. He's in good faith. Can also be very annoying. So a bunch of people also jumped on this and were like, dude, why do you play the video while you're fucking getting up? Is it CoffeeZilla? No, of course not. I love CoffeeZilla. That person made it. Oh, that's the other reason. The person that we're talking.
Oh, so he never brought that up again, I guess, because Mahler would have put it in because he thinks everything Hassan says is pretty bad.
About also made it.
Oh, here it is. Here's the quote that is the reason I'm just gonna move my face so you can see it. But that person made an 8-hour podcast with Killstream Nazis about you. So there's been a bad rumor about EFAP. So the guy, the person who started the channel that I am using this compilation from, it's a podcast channel called Every Frame of Pause because they pause a lot. And I think after addressing Jenny Nicholson, I think that's where it was, for some reason everybody started calling them Nazis. I don't know about the Killstream Nazi thing. That's a weird thing. But and here's the little breadcrumb, the Killstream Nazi thing, saying that Jay went on the podcast with them, when that's not true. Because Jay wasn't on that 8-hour podcast. It was a bunch of other people, and if anything, if you've watched EFAP, you know that they're not Nazis in any way. They're specifically people who just like sound arguments and sound stories. They're very into media criticism and movie and show criticism. That's their whole thing. So it's horrible that commenters are spreading this, and then if you see later, Hassan repeats this.
8-hour podcast was like kill stream Nazis,
What the fuck are you talking about?
where they like basically just restreamed my stream, which I don't have an issue with.
They did it on stream. It's free.
But
Why did he take that? Wait. He made that up. Wait,
That's
he
the
made
other-
up that part. That person made an 8-hour podcast with Killstream Nazis about
the
you.
reason the person that we're talking about also made an 8-hour podcast was like kill stream Nazis,
What the fuck are you talking about?
where they like basically just restreamed my stream, which I don't have.
He's the one who added that, because if you see the comment, all it says just about you. That's all that's where it ends. And then he adds the where they basically restreamed my stream. No, they didn't. I watched it. That's the reason I made this, is because I feel like they didn't go through it enough, honestly, even through those 8 hours, because they went on a bunch of non-important tangents or didn't address things that I thought they would address. So
Don't have an issue with, but
stupid.
you know, when you do that, it's like it's impossible for me to see it as like good faith criticism. So there's that.
It's impossible, just because I've never watched it, but I'm gonna say it's impossible that it's going to be good faith.
That too. There was like literally fucking killstream Nazis on there.
So he repeats it. That's the issue that EFF had most with it, is that he repeats that point multiple times and spreads the lie that was started. It was a year and a half ago that they addressed Jenny Nicholson, I think. And that's when that whole rumor started, is they started calling them Nazis and stuff. My god. Is that my puppy? Could you guys hear that? I don't think you can. Good. But yeah, that's the main point that EFF had a problem with, is that he repeated the point, and I agree. You're essentially defaming someone based on someone's random comment that you saw. You don't even know who they are.
He's full of shit.
It's like before I even saw anything about Hassan, my first exposure to Hassan was seeing some reactions on offline on something about offline TV's offline TV and Friends, I think, or one of those channels that has a bunch of compilations and stuff that are funded by the actual streamers. But I already knew I didn't really like the way Hassan reacted, because he kind of acts like all of the toxic guys. He acts like a typical jock and has the intelligence of one, but of a stereotypical jock. So that's the type of behavior I never appreciated in high school and never really got along with when I was a soccer player, because that's the reason I got out of soccer, is because everybody acted that way. So yeah, there's my first exposure to Hassan, but then afterwards I completely forgot who he was. And then the next exposure I have to Hassan is EFAP covering him initially with the Jay's whole thing, and how Hassan acts is just completely childish. I don't know if I should say childish, it's immature. And even then, calling people immature just tries to put yourself out as immature. It's more like unhealthily, we'll say that. He reacts in a very unhealthy way, because it doesn't show growth. It doesn't provide the option for growth based on the criticism, and it also tries to ruin other people's reputations in the process, which is just despicable. To me, it's despicable to do that type of stuff to people. Because imagine if I was a bigger streamer than Hassan, and my only exposure to him was those 3 moments, I wouldn't say anything about that. I wouldn't make a whole channel about that. But because I'm a smaller streamer and I have these very glaring examples of Hassan acting this way, I'm doing this, and it's a very important thing for me to see, that for other people to see that there's more to it than just what other people have said about it. I think Hassan and some other streamers, I think it's a lot of the male streamers that are super popular, are very overly toxic, and that's what gets them their channel. besides all of the things that happen in their life that gives them the luck that gets in their channel. But there's a lot of people who are popular who stay popular are super toxic, and it's not necessarily masculinity, because it's not masculine to just bully people. Bullying people is just an a-hole thing. It's an insecurity thing. So, because I say that it's most of the top male streamers. It's the ones that I know of that are top male streamers, except for Tyler One. I know that Tyler One is very much a character. His whole thing of being mean is a character. He's a very nice person. Even on his stream, a lot of the time, he just has his funny character moments. Meanwhile, you have people like Hasan, and he sees criticism and immediately pounces on it like it's the biggest deal in the world.
So
but doesn't pounce on it in a constructive way. He pounces on it in a way that's like, you're banned, you suck, I hate you, you're the worst person who's ever existed.
if you're doing that sort of stuff, like, then I don't think you're doing it in good faith. I think it's kind of sad. I think it's kind of pathetic, and I'm sure they'll keep making more videos over and over again. Okay?
I'm sure. Well, the only reason they would make another video is because of this reaction. Because the only reason the original, like the video that Jay made was made is because of how Hasan reacted to the stream and the tweets. It's because Hasan acted very unhealthily to the situation and blew off the criticism like it was nothing, because it didn't fit into his view of himself or his content.
Ultimately, what I am going to do is, like, yeah, I get up when a fucking video is playing from time to time. Okay? The reason why I don't pause it when I get up is because I care about the content above all else.
I care about the content, yes.
I care about you guys being entertained above all else.
And that's the issue, is he thinks of it as him entertaining his audience when it's the person that he's playing entertaining his audience.
You know what your problem is? You care too much.
And I know that
I've never seen that movie. I think that's Prince of Egypt. I'm sad I haven't seen that movie because I know it's apparently really good.
that if I fucking if I pause the video, you guys are gonna be fucking annoyed. You're gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? So I would rather.
Well, yeah, because they come to expect it now, because you've done the bad thing over and over and over, and now that you are told not to, even if you wanted to, you can't without getting backlash. But if he doesn't care about backlash like he says, then just do it.
Play it on my phone while I get up. You know what I mean? While I get up and
Wait, do you think it would be beneficial for some kind of fine to react to? Oh, so someone in the comments of one of his I think a Prime subscriber said something about do you think it would be beneficial for some kind of fine to react to signifier if it became common amongst content creators? So like a badge that says, oh yeah, I'm okay with that. Because assuming consent is the thing that they're doing, because that's what Mr. Irrelevant said. Consent is implied when you post your thing. No, it's consent to be transformed. It's not to steal. That's what I think. What these guys don't get is that there's a certain level of reaction that is required, and I don't know what the exact level is, but as long as it meets, because you don't have to know the law in order to know, or in order to at least feel like you're not contributing or not creating your own content. You're just sitting there. Because Hasan himself knows, because everybody says he does, and I'm inclined to believe them. Everybody on like these two guys, especially all their commenters, everybody, like, they know that he doesn't do this often, or he doesn't. It's not like he doesn't do often, but he doesn't not react for the majority of his content. He, for the majority, will pause and have his own tangents because he's a very talkative person. But the problem is that he's also having consistent moments of walking away while content is playing. It's not like it's a one-time thing. Because he does it to Jay, and then you have some there. I assure you, if you watch the 8 hours of his stream every single day, there are always moments where he's away from the computer while he's playing a video. It's just a thing that a lot of React streamers do. And the only reason I assure you of that is because there's some more examples than just what happened to Jay. Just like with what is her name? What is her name? Denims. Sorry. Just like with Denims, there were examples of her doing the exact same thing because she thinks that it's okay because the top streamer does it. It's exactly like how children work. It's you curse in front of your child and then the child thinks it's okay to curse. Or say there's an abusive household, you have the same thing where someone hits their spouse and then they think that it's okay to be hit or hit their spouse when they're in a relationship later in life. It's so dumb that people don't get it because Hasan has to be. I know he probably doesn't want this, but he has to be an example. He has to set an example as a really high level, high tier streamer, high tier earner in streaming. He has to set the example for other people who do similar content. And because he does this, he sets the example that it's okay to just do nothing and sit around on stream all day. Well, not all day, but for periods of time where you're taking breaks, it's okay to just let other people's stuff play. And that's where I think the biggest problem is that he's, of all people to be doing this and reacting this way, it's one of the bigger streamers that is the example for everybody.
Answer the door, get the deliveries, fucking even in the 10-minute period where I'm off camera sporadically when I am cooking. So
I'm not sure what this point is.
So
Oh, okay. No, I remember what they said to EFAP, that Mahler edited in some of his stops because I stop a lot. I'm because I'm thinking about what I want to say before I say it. But he'll go in the middle of the sentence and do stuff like that.
Of course, I'm going to do that. And the real reason why I don't care about it for the most part is because 90%, like I said,
so he changes the number every time he says it when he says how many people are okay with it, because he said 99%, 99.9%. Says 90 here.
But that's what the YouTuber want? Disrespectful? Wait, what do you mean? They don't even.
Oh yeah, watch. So he sees this person, but that's what the YouTuber want. Disrespectful.
But that's what the YouTuber.
His immediate response is to click on that person and check their history, their comment history, to make sure that they're with the crowd. It is a culty thing to do, isn't it? It's or I guess it's an echo chamber thing to do. It's kill all dissenters, and but he sees something that's even slightly contradicting what he says, and then he immediately tries to check and see if they're with it, and if they're not, or even if they are with it, sometimes if it's a more extreme thing, he'll just immediately ban them.
Wait, what do you mean? They don't even want to say don't react. They say that leaving videos only.
Oh no, sorry. Oh, I misinterpreted that situation. Sorry. No, he was just clicking on the person's name so that he could actually see the comment, because the chat moves so fast. I'm sorry, I misinterpreted that. But he does that a lot with dissenters. I will say that. It's not the case with this guy, but he does attack dissenters very quickly. It's the kick him. Get
even
rid of him.
disrespectful to the creator, and they just want people to be more transformative. Okay, but that's the react harder argument. And most of the creators that are quite literally in here, like Nick is not green, for example, is a great example of this. Like, these are people from this community as well. Like, they don't mind it.
Well, the problem is it's not the fact that they don't mind it if it's wrong. Like I could say I don't mind getting slapped every once in a while. Doesn't mean that you should do it. there's plenty of reasons why that argument just falls apart if you put it in any other context.
Like 90%.
Because yes, context is important, but if it's risking law, like DMCA claims and stuff like that, it's important to make sure that you're not tiptoeing around it, because that's essentially what they're doing is tiptoeing around it. They're putting their faces in the screen. They're having a chat in the corner, so most of the screen is covered by that. But then they're also displaying somebody else's content. So it's the reason it feels bad is because they're doing as much as they can get away with, and that's literally how he does it. Because as soon as he gets someone saying, "Oh, I don't want you to do this type of stuff," he just goes, "Oh yeah, I won't do it to your stuff. I see it as a problem, but only because you said you don't want to do it to your stuff, so I won't do it to your stuff." That's the issue I'm seeing with how he thinks.
Of creators don't mind it, and I do react hard. Okay, I react so fucking hard.
You know, he I will say, I'm pretty sure I am sure that he does, because I haven't seen his content very much. I assure you he probably does. That he reacts quite a bit. And I think the thing that he's not thinking of is he thinks that because he reacts for most of it, that it's okay that he steals for some of it. You don't get brownie points for doing what you're supposed to. You don't get bonus points for doing what you're supposed to. The bonus, because he's using the bonus points to make sure that the points in the negative will keep him in the positive, but that's not what's happening. His score is going lower. The bonus points don't help. Doing what you're supposed to doesn't give you bonus points.
That there are entire memes about how much I pause. We totally forgot about this for some weird reason, because one content creator with a relatively sizable audience that has partnered up with a bunch of other content creators who just fucking despise me.
And the thing is, he thinks that Dark Viper is someone who despises him. And I think Jay doesn't necessarily despise Hasan. EFAP does, just because they're very judgmental, and I'm fine with judgmental people. I'm quite judgmental with myself, but I don't rush to judgment. I'll see how people react in certain situations and other situations before I make that judgment. But yeah, something to think about. I think he
relatively sizable audience that has partnered up with a bunch of other content creators who just fucking despise me.
He associates everybody who criticizes him with the same crowd, and that's his issue. He doesn't know why he's being attacked. He thinks that it's because of something else, but it isn't. And he just so hard to respond to at this point, because I've been responding to all of this for so long these past few weeks, but Hasan is always the hardest because he just doesn't make sense a lot of the time.
There's this notion on the internet that, like, I don't fucking react hard or something.
It's not that he doesn't react hard, it's that he decides to take breaks using other people's content. Because no one said you didn't react hard. Here's the example. Oh wait. We're gonna
Don't fucking react hard.
I hope that you guys trust me at this point, but so starting at his 6 hour and 19-minute mark of his stream, I will hopefully the clip plays for the full period of him leaving.
There's a reason why people call me pause Hasanabi. It's so weird that people are now saying, like, When he joins, you should say you're going to eat something and leave him alone with your chair for 30 minutes.
Oh. So people are just memeing it now, and that's another form of batting off criticism that a lot of streamers do. Because I know I would try to address criticism if I got it. And I'm not the best at taking criticism, I will say, when it's something I care about. And I care about how I'm perceived. And if someone tries to say something about how I behave or who I am as a person, I will combat that, because I care about how I perceive myself, and as well as, because most of the time I don't really care how other people see me, but if it can affect my livelihood, I will definitely address it. And this is something that he is doing. He's addressing it in a very dismissive way so that he can just keep doing what he's doing.
That's why I'm like so confused by this. This is a wild take, and it speaks to the power of compilations. I have 8 hours of stream you can watch, and it's like people are basically asking me.
You can of course find moments of dead air, grabbing something off camera and using the bathroom as I stream 8 to 10 hours a day. Yeah, but he doesn't care about dead time. He cares about using this other person's content during the dead time.
To change the way I do the stream, but they've never watched the stream.
Oh my eye. Oh.
Like, if you were a stream watcher and that was something that was like frustrating you, that's a little bit different. You know what I mean? But you.
Oh, so he's saying that the reason why it's not that bad is because he's a YouTuber who's saying that it's bad, not because saying that it's because he's not a stream watcher that he can't have any say to it.
You don't.
Because essentially he's just using his own comment section who are okay with it as examples of why it's okay in general. And it's once again another thing. People were fine with slavery back in the day. Doesn't mean it was okay. Just because all your friends were okay with slavery doesn't mean your friends will be. Doesn't mean everybody else in the future will be okay with slavery. You should realize he's the. If he sticks to this point in the future, because hopefully he watches Jade's video and sees the validity in it. But if he doesn't, he's going to be seen as the bad guy if we ever have people analyzing this era of political Twitch drama. Because I guess they probably wouldn't. Most people wouldn't, but it's something that's relevant enough since he's a big streamer. So I feel like if he really cares about how people perceive him, he should address it in a more good faith way, because he just says that everything is bad because it's rehashing old stuff. It's completely stupid. I could rehash anything I want and still make good points. I could do anything I could make this whole reaction 2 years from now, and I would still try to make as many good points as I possibly could. If I made bad points, people can talk to me and we'll discuss it. You know, it doesn't mean that you, just because you streamed it, just because you said it, doesn't mean that it's the best opinion. You know?
Watch the stream. You've never watched the stream. You've only seen compilations of it, and you have a false notion that I do this thing where I just like fucking play a video and move on. Play a video and move on.
I'm an idiot. I'm a dumb bimbo. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know how the
Mahler puts a lot of those edits in. I think Mahler is being a little mean to Hasan. But I don't think Hasan understands the words that he's saying. And he, like he said before, when he said a pretty controversial statement, English isn't his first language, so I can understand if he doesn't understand exactly what he's saying. But he sounds pretty Californian to me. Just saying. So I think he should at least have some grasp of what he thinks he's saying.
fucking turned into like dude, you're not reacting hard enough to the videos. You can say that about anyone, by the way, for the record. You can say that about anyone. And there are instances where, like, if you're arguing,
You can't say that about me, but I will start my stream up in a few. I just have to go take a break to eat. So thank you for people who are tuning in. I will be back in, I guess, 30 minutes because I need to also go to the bathroom. See ya.